Hi everybody, we are going to get started with our not August, with our September Club Q. We have some travel kind of adventure pages for September, and this uses our brand new paper line called Away We Go. This paper line is gorgeous. We actually have it on our website now if you wanted the paper pack. It's brand new. And we are going to get started with all the cutting first. And actually, let's look at the inks here. It suggests amaretto and navy. I actually have deep sea, which is a dark blue, but it is a little bit brighter than navy. And I'm going to use, I think, let's see, I'm going to use an orangish color for the chipboard. Mine's really worn out, but Mango Mai Tai. You can mix and match any colors you want because there's some bluish purples in here. There's oranges, there's light blue. So you just choose, and I think we actually used amaretto and a darker brown around the edges there. So you choose the ones that work for you. I'm going to bring in the trimmer and get the cutting done first. I'll trim this end off here. I love this line because it does have lots of colors in there, but it still looks vintage. And it even has, in the actual, we don't have any in this kit, but in the actual paper line, there's some kind of light florals in there too. So it's not all travel-y, but they all kind of go together. Okay, so we are going to do our big cutting diagram first for this paper. And the first thing we want to do, I just always set this next to me so I can see what I'm doing while I'm cutting. We want to cut a 2-inch strip off the top. So go ahead, put your paper in. And the great thing about having a video for the kits is that you can push pause at any point and get caught up or get the pieces done or get pieces chalked up. I have all of my pieces punched out already. If you don't have yours punched out, you can hit pause, punch those out. Or if you don't have them punched out yet, if you are wanting to turn these a different color, it is easier if you just leave them in the whole die cut, and then you can lay down your die cut and you can color your frames or whatever it is with your chalking ink. So you can just pat it on there. But I'm just going to do the outside edges so you can see here, just like this. And I'm going to use this orange because I like to brighten it up just a little bit. So I'm just doing just the edges. But if you want to use more ink, you can pat it on there and make these a completely different color. Totally up to you. I like the look of this because it still looks kind of vintagey, but it just brightens it up just a little. Okay, so we have that 2-inch strip. Now we're going to turn it, and we want a 2x2, a 2x2, and then a 5-inch piece. So we'll do 2 inches and cut, 2 inches and trim, and then a 5-inch piece that we are going to turn into like a little banner piece. And actually, while we're doing this, I'm just going to show you how to make this into a banner piece. What I do is fold over, match up the corners there, and then, so the corners are matched up right here. You just start at the corner and cut back towards you, and you have the perfect little dove's tail there. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I have my 2x2s. The last two cuts on this one is 5 inches and 5 inches. So we'll put it in 5, and then you have 2 5x12s. The next diagram is the purplish blue color script paper, and it's a 6x12. We're going to cut off 6 inches to make a 6x6. Then we'll turn it and do a 4x6. And then you have this little 2x6 left over. So 6x6, 4x6, 2x6. And the last diagram is the suitcase paper. It's 6x12 as well. And we're going to cut a 5x5 and a 3.5 by 5.5. So this leaves a little extra paper to kind of play with if you want to use it for something else. We're going to put it into 5 inches and trim. I'm going to turn that this way, 5 inches, and trim. A little slice there that's just, you can throw it away or use it for something else. So you have a 5x5, and we just need a 3.5 by 5.5. So I am going to trim at 5.5, and that kind of leaves a cute little piece here if you ever want to use that for a tag or something. So 5.5, and then we'll turn it and do 3.5. And that's a little leftover piece as well, but you have a 3.5 inch piece here. And that's all the trimming we're going to do. The only other cutting we need to do is to trim out your little circle words. And my suggestion would to be actually to trim just on the outside so there's a little white showing. It's easier to glue behind the circles. So just a little bit of white showing. I didn't leave a lot on mine. If you cut them down, that's fine too, because they'll still fit. It's just a little easier to glue if you cut them a little bigger. Okay, then we will start layering stuff. Let's get this trimmer out of the way. And if you want to start chalking things up, you can. I'm going to go ahead and get these onto the page. I want to get the measurements of how far up these go. Okay, so these are just a 1/4 inch up from the bottom. And if you don't get it exactly, that's totally fine. If you want to measure it out, you can. But these go across here, 1/4 inch. And I always kind of just line them up right next to each other so I can make sure that they're even. And it doesn't have to be exact. And after we get that on, we are going to layer some of our other pieces. So you have these that are already pre-cut for you in the kit. They just layer up for a photo backer. And I'm going to use the deep sea on this. It still kind of looks navy, but it has just a little bit of a brightness to it once you get it on the page. So I like this one to brighten it up a little bit. So this gets glued on top of here. Oh, you know what I did? I'm sorry. These don't line up. This one actually goes 1/4 inch from the top. Sorry about that. Hope you didn't already glue that down. Actually. So this will be 1/4 of an inch from the top on page 2. And you can go ahead and glue these down as you go. 1/4 of an inch from the bottom on page 1. And from there we will just start layering. You have these 2 pieces here that were cut already for you in the kit, and they fit, the blue fits right on top for a photo mat. And I chalked mine with a little bit of Deep Sea. It's like navy, but it's a little bit brighter when it goes on. So I'm going to go ahead, glue those together, put that down on the page. And just remember, if you're not putting pictures in right now, just remember to not glue anything down completely. Like, we're going to put these frames on up here, but if you don't have pictures behind them yet, I would just put a little bit of glue just to tack it down so you have them in place, but you can still peel them back up, trace your photo, cut it out, and put it behind there. Okay? So choose the color you want to chalk these with. The bigger one I chalked in Mango Mai Tai. I'm going to do this one with a little blue around it. I kind of like this deep sea blue. And all of these smaller ones will have small brads to go in each one. My deep sea blue is falling apart. I've had that one for probably 2 years, and I use it a lot. They usually last about a year, depending on how often you use them. But some of them seem to last a couple of years easily. So for each small frame, you'll put a brad in. I'll do this one in blue too. And one thing you can do to kind of save the pad on your powder puff is just pat it on there. If you constantly do this to the edges, it's going to wear out quicker. If you just pat it around the edges, it's a lot easier on your... I don't always do that, but it's a lot easier on the pad. So remember, if you don't have pictures in, don't glue these all the way down yet. You also have a blue piece that's already cut for you as well, and that tucks right in behind here. Really, it's just kind of an extra piece because you'll probably want to put a photo behind this. We just added this because it looks nice in the picture since there's not a photo there. Or you could also use it as a photo mat and put it out here as well. So you could do one photo in here, one photo on here, and just use it to add an extra photo too. But in our sample, actually I'm going to chop this one up with mango. In our sample, we put the blue behind here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if you want to just use it for an extra photo mat, you definitely can. And we have, these are ones that we cut from the diagram. You have your purplish blue with the suitcase paper right in the middle of it. And that is a photo mat for here. Get all the pieces here. So these two, they also have brads that go in the corners. I'm just going to lay it here so that I can show you how everything is laid out. And then you can hit pause anytime and actually get the brads in and all of that. We're gonna tuck this live right here on the side. You have two little tags that we are going to, don't glue these down yet because we have little banners that we're going to put behind them. Looking for my, okay, so you have die cuts that came like this. We're going to use the bigger circle on the outside for these two. And if it's cut too small, you can always center this, glue that down, then put the circle on top of it. Okay, chalk these up a little bit. So I'm just going to pat this on there, save my ink pad a little bit, because these sharp edges, sometimes they are a little rough on your ink. And then we usually use the Barely Art Glue. It has a real precision tip and just a few dots of the Barely Art Glue. Add that. And if you don't want your hands this messy, just lay this on a scrap piece of paper and you can pat it as well. I feel like I live my life with ink on my hands, so I'm not going to worry about it. Every single day I have a different color. And in the beginning I showed you how to cut this dove's tail here. We're going to do the same with these two as well. Once you have one cut, you can line these up if you want to and just cut the same angle, or you can do like we did on the first one. Got my scissors. And you don't want to crease it all the way, but you match up the corners and then cut back. Okay. This one gets tucked right behind here. And this one, same. Fold it till your corners touch. Cut back towards your hand. Chop these up if you want to. And they get tucked in behind here. Just to add a little color to your page. Now you have a 6x6, a 5x5, and your big frame. Your big frame actually has bigger brads that are going to go right in the sides here. So use your larger brads in the side. And remember, don't glue these all the way down. So I would actually put the brads in before you glue anything together here. Put the brads in, and you can use this to cut around your photo, put your photo in, and then you have all the layers here. A lot of times I like to lay my stuff out totally so that I know that it's exactly where I want it before I go ahead and glue it down. But you can glue as we go if you want to. One thing I didn't do in the beginning, which I normally do, is cut the ribbon. So this ribbon you want to cut into 4 5-inch pieces. So 5, 5, 5. I'll do that real quick. And once you have that, I'll show you here on these other 2 tags. You can either, I'll show you 2 different ways, but I think, actually these ones I think are just pulled straight through. Oops, I didn't cut that at an angle. Straight through and then 1 knot. just like that. And then you can trim the edges. On the other one, fold through, and then there's 2 that go through the tags on page 1 as well. I picked up the worst scissors for this today. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, and then on page 2, we have these little tags here. And again, we have these small little circles. You could use these for something else on the page too. Kind of fun. And center these. Put your little frames on. Just a little bit of glue. Hold this on. And obviously chalk those up a little bit because they need... Oh my gosh. I left these 2 pieces off. Chalk those up. That's where the color comes from. There you go. Now that stands out a little better. So we have basically everything on the page. You just want to make sure and put your brads in. Don't tack anything down until you know where you want your photos. And if you wanted to use some of these other little pieces, there's this that could make a little tag to tuck in somewhere. Some of these little pieces that are left over. If you did not put this blue piece behind there, you could use it somewhere else, maybe up here. It covers up some of the suitcases, but you could add another photo that way. But I hope you enjoyed the kits for this September. Fun travel kits. Hope you have the perfect pictures to put in them. And thank you so much for being a Club Q member. We will see you next time.